So, John, would you rather lose all your fingers in a freak accident with a door, or have your balls electrocuted, rendering them useless?
I think I could stand losing my fingers. I feel like my fingers are easy to replace.
Mm-hmm.
I could have prosthetic.
You still find a way to, you know.
Yeah, you could get like robot fingers. I think I like losing all my fingers. I'd have, like,
You genuinely look very excited by this.
Yeah, I could wear like dramatic gloves all the time and be like a supervillain.
Oh, right, well, that's that decided.
Yeah, definitely that over losing my balls.
Some films are fine just the way they are. Other films sometimes take it way too far. Really, how hard could it get? Let's go beyond the box set.
Welcome, everybody, to Beyond the Box Set, a podcast where we pitch prequels, sequels, and spin-offs to one-off films that don't have any. I'm Harry, and joining me as always is John.
Hello.
And John, you found a guest for us this week.
Yes, welcome to the podcast, Chris from Easy Rider Raging Podcast.
Happy to be here.
Thank you, yeah. So tell us a little about what is Easy Riders Raging Podcast. Tell us about it.
It's a classic film podcast. I decided when I was thinking, what is it about? But yeah, we look at old films. We did a whole series just looking at 60s films, looking back at them and watching films we always meant to watch, and then doing a series of fun features on them. And we've now moved on to a second series, which is all 70s films. Much like ourselves, we just talk about a film each week, and then we do a series of features at the end.
Mm-hmm. Cool. It's great fun. We just recorded a guest slot where we discussed the John Travolta classic Saturday Night Fever, so look out for that. And as always, whenever we have a guest on, we allow them to choose the film. So what have you chosen for us for Beyond the Box Set?
Today I picked the 2005 Shane Black film, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Ooh, okay, interesting. Why did you choose Kiss Kiss Bang Bang?
I started trying to think when we were talking films I liked that didn't have sequels,
Sure.
and also films that I thought I would quite like to see sequels of.
Mm.
This was one of the few films that came to mind, and it was a film I hadn't seen for a good few years, so I thought, oh, that would be a good fun film for at least myself to rewatch.
Mm-hmm. Cool, yeah, I really enjoyed it. Harry, what did you think?
Ultimately, I thought it slightly missed the mark.
Okay, how so?
I thought it was very close to being something like to being called a comedy or to being called an action film, but it never quite got it, I thought.
Because the two of you had never seen this before.
Oh,
is that
yes,
correct?
this was our first time watching it, yeah.
Mm.
So what do you think? It never landed on whether it was a comedy or an action? It kind of fell somewhere in the middle and in a
Yeah,
unsatisfying
sort of somewhere in the
way.
middle. Yeah, and there were a few bits which were absolutely brilliant. For example, the bit at the end where they start bringing in all the people who have died, and they bring in Abraham Lincoln as well. It's like that's great comedy, but it doesn't fit at all with the rest of the film. I don't know. There was a lot I liked, but ultimately I didn't particularly like it.
Okay. It's an interesting structure. It's kind of hard to categorise because this is the normally point where I would sum up the plot, but it's so hard because the plot is really fast moving and the plot is very convoluted. It's
So I guess you could give the plot. There is an overview, like
Yeah.
it's about these two people teaming up.
Yeah, so basically it stars Robert Downey Jr. as a guy called Harry, who's like a petty criminal, who, great name, yes. He's a petty criminal like all Harrys, and he accidentally finds himself in an audition for a film, which he accidentally gets the part, or is offered the part, and goes to LA. The film opens at like a fancy LA kind of celebrity party, where he meets a private detective, played by Val Kilmer, called Gay Perry, who is gay. He was a gay. And just in case you didn't get that memo, he is a gay.
The film will never let you forget
The
that.
film will never let you forget that Val Kilmer is playing Gay Perry, who is gay.
Guy smoking, that's Dabney Shaw, my producer. He discovered me. The man with him is Perry Van Shrike, a.k.a. Gay Perry. Honest to God, private eye, consults in film, TV, just incorporated. He's big time. Also, he's gay.
So he meets Gay Perry, and how many times on the podcast can I say Gay Perry? This can be your drinking game.
Yeah.
He meets Val Kilmer, and what did happen? He meets Val Kilmer,
And he's assigned to go with him as sort of to see what it's like solving crimes.
Oh, that's, yeah, because he's up for a part in some kind of police procedural, isn't he, as a detective. So he gets assigned to ride along with Val Kilmer, Gay Perry, to experience, as you say, what that really is like as research. So the two of them are on a ride along, and then they come across what appears to be a kidnapping, is it? Oh no, they see a car being driven into a lake, and it turns out there's a dead woman in the boot of the car. Val Kilmer's character shoots the boot to kind of open it to try and let her out, accidentally shoots her in the head, but I think she was already dead. But then obviously they are now implicated in the murder, so they hide the body. There's also the two people who actually kidnapped her in face masks are seen running away. And then there's a separate plot line in which Harry, Robert Downey Jr., is reunited with his old high school crush played by Michelle Monaghan and her Emilia Clarke-esque eyebrow acting, which we'll talk about. He meets up with her. She's like a struggling actress in LA. Shortly thereafter, her sister is killed, and she, thinking that Harry has told her that he's actually a detective, so she enlists him to help solve that murder. So there's 2 separate murders have happened that are apparently unrelated. And then there's just a lot of convoluted, there's lots of plots, crossovers, the original body of the girl in the boot of the car reappears in Harry's shower, so they realise they're being framed for the murder by the real murderers. And then it turns out that the girl who's been murdered is the daughter of the man who was running the party they were at, this very rich Hollywood lawyer or Hollywood executive. She's his daughter, and it turns out that he had her killed to get his inheritance from his dead wife.
I mean, I've seen this film about 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
I couldn't actually tell you what's going on beyond these 2 guys are teaming up to solve something.
You've really helped me there, but I still don't know.
But ultimately, I wonder, because it's a very convoluted plot.
Yeah.
But I wonder if that's possibly the point, perhaps.
Yeah, I felt like I was watching this film at 1.5 speed. Because it was so convoluted, and they don't really pause for breath. There's not a lot of exposition there, so it just keeps moving. Stylistically, it's got this real kind of Raymond Chandler noir kind of vibe, but also with a very modern kind of tongue-in-cheek meta kind of film within a film thing, with Robert Downey Jr. doing a voiceover throughout the film and constantly reminding us that we're watching a film. He goes back and edits scenes in real time, mentions things such as there's a scene that Harry referenced earlier, in which a character comes back from the dead. The Val Kilmer character appears to be dead, and at the end of the film, spoiler alert, he's alive. And then they make a comment on how predictable that is, and then suddenly Abraham Lincoln and all the characters in the film, Elvis Presley, all walk into the hotel. It's like, oh, they're all alive.
Yeah.
So, and it's very jokey, it's very tongue-in-cheek, it's very meta. I enjoyed it, but it was really hard to follow. I wish I'd had time to watch it twice because the plot was really convoluted, probably deliberately.
Or I think it's probably better if you go the other way and perhaps just kind of go with the tide.
Yeah.
You appreciate the lines and the chemistry between the leads.
Mm-hmm.
But not necessarily worry too much about the intricacies of the A to B to C.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's that important.
True.
It's more the journey, not the destination.
Absolutely. What makes this film work is that Robert Downey Jr. and Val Kilmer and Michelle Monaghan are all pretty funny. And it's fun to watch them just hanging out, and the draw is them, basically. Would you agree?
Yeah, it was fun for the cast, at least.
Yeah.
I certainly enjoyed that. And Robert Downey Jr., RDJ, I'm going to call him, does a pretty great job in this.
Well, this is the film that got him Iron Man.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, because he was...
Well, actually, there's 3 years between them.
But he was washed up.
Yeah.
He'd had drink and drugs and prison, and so his career was done. He was on Ally McBeal, he got fired, and his career was done.
So he did this, it came out in 2005.
Yes.
And then, I guess, maybe about 1 or 2 years later...
No one wanted to hire him.
Yeah.
Somehow Marvel hired him for Iron
Man.
Man.
Well, they didn't really want to hire him for Iron Man.
Yeah. It was Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau, who directed the first two Iron Man films, saw this film and really liked him in it and said, that's my Iron Man. Because he's giving a similar performance, isn't he? He's definitely doing it. He's like a George Clooney type. Robert Downey Jr. is... He has a style. There's definitely Robert Downey Jr.
like all movie stars.
Yeah, he's a movie star.
Persona.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, that's the persona I want for my Iron Man. So yeah, he basically got it through this film. So yeah, even though this film wasn't a huge hit, it's kind of a cult hit.
But yeah, without this, there wouldn't be Iron Man. Without him as Iron Man.
You don't need to tell me this.
Well, yeah. Because originally, Johnny Knoxville was cast as Harry in this film.
Oh, right. Okay.
Jackass is Johnny Knoxville.
That would have been a very different film.
And so in an alternate universe somewhere, he ended up playing Tony Stark. Possibly with Steve-O as War Machine.
Oh my god.
I'll tell you what, that's still better than Justice League. So
no.
That's very true. Very true. Do you know that Iron Man 3 was actually directed by Shane Black?
I did.
And does share a lot of similarities to this film.
Uh-huh.
Mainly has a lot of similarities to Shane Black films, with like a commentary being set at Christmas, which I think is Shane Black's thing.
Yeah.
Well, he's the king of like the buddy cop movie. I mean, this is his first directorial debut, but in his scripts, he'd had a long history of writing Lethal Weapon, Long Kiss Goodnight. They're all about these sort of cop crime fighting people being teamed up and bickering, but solving cases. And so that's his milieu, I guess.
Yeah.
Bitch client hires me, has me witness a murder.
Can I use the dry towel? This towel's...
No.
This towel is wet.
The towel is for the seat.
This towel was for your shoes, and then you handed it to me for my face. This towel is wet. Can I use
This is
dry...
dirty. No.
Can I dry the hat?
No, stop dripping. Shit better be improving your acting.
Any particular standout scenes that you enjoyed?
Yeah, my favourite scene was one of the scenes where they take some kind of cliche and flip it on its head. Which, for me, it was one in the car park where he loads the pistol and tries to do sort of a
Russian
Russian
roulette.
roulette kind of threat sort of thing, and then just shoots him first time.
Yeah, I think that was my biggest laugh too.
Especially because, like, a few scenes earlier, he has a mental breakdown because he kills somebody.
Yeah.
That's the first person he kills, and fair enough. And then just all of a sudden, he's now killed a second person, and it's completely by accident, and it's just because he can't do maths.
Yes, yeah. What was the number he thought it was?
8%.
8%, yeah. And Val Kilmer's just horrified by that. Yeah.
Harry, he's got a
Look,
point.
I don't know anything about a girl, seriously. I was bluffing.
You know what? I think that you are bluffing right now.
Harry, what are you doing?
Well, what I'm doing for the guy who likes to bluff is I'm playing a little game called Am I Bluffing? Huh? Where is she? Where the fuck is Harmony?
Harry.
You want to play hardball? I can do that. Where is the girl?
What did you just do?
I put in one bullet, didn't I?
You put a live round in that gun.
Oh, yeah. There was like an 8% chance. Wasn't it
8%?
just 8?
8?
Yeah.
Who taught you
Maybe it
math?
was more. I don't know.
Yeah, some of the, because that's one of like the three big comic beats, like him losing a finger
Yeah.
and him winning on a corpse.
Yes.
But I remember at the time, because I saw this when it came out of the cinema, all three of those bits were spoiled in the trailer.
Oh,
Really?
no.
But I remember at the time watching it thinking, especially the Russian roulette bit, that would have been so much more enjoyable for me if I hadn't seen it in advance.
Well, that's true, but then I'm thinking, what else in this film, other than those 3 points, could you put in trailers to put bums in seats?
But I guess you've got the name, you've got the cast, and I guess it's just the sense of style. Because the film does have a particular sense of style, an almost sort of Tarantino sort of knowing wit, that kind of like postmodern take on. But I don't think the film was very successful at the cinema.
No, it was a little slow burn kind of cult kind of film.
And so whatever they put in the trailer clearly didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to sell. It's one of those genre crossover films. It's hard to categorize. It's hard to describe. Well, we've already failed, or I've tried and failed. It's really hard to, in 1 or 2 lines, what is this film about? It's kind of hard to say. But it's just a film that's fun to watch and to experience.
And both the two leads, obviously, Ally McBeal's, Robert Downey Jr.,
Yeah.
and Batman Forever's
Val
Val Kilmer. They were not hugely bankable names at the time. They weren't sort of locks.
Yeah.
And Shane Black hadn't directed a film before, so it's a hard sell
It was,
to some
yeah.
degree. But yeah, I did find it a lot of fun, even watching it back. The line I wrote down here, I was tired, I was hungry, I was more wet than Drew Barrymore at a grunge club. It was just kind of these lines like, no one else is writing that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a singular voice.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree. I mean, I think my biggest laugh was the Russian roulette, and the other one was when he lost his finger. And when the dog ate his finger as well.
Yeah.
He seemed to like, what I liked about that,
He
he
did
seemed...
not really care.
No, he seemed to like, he seemed to get over it. He just kind of rolled his eyes. Like, he didn't freak out that much about losing his finger. He was kind of...
It's because so much had already happened, and he
Yeah.
was just dealing with everything. He's like, oh, and this too. I just don't have space for this.
Yeah.
It's just, okay, I'll let that happen, whatever's
Because
happening
he
there.
didn't get the finger back, did he?
No, he didn't.
no.
The dog ate it, and he...
Because the dog sort of teased him with it for, like, it was sticking out of the dog's mouth quite comically for ages. And then he was just on the phone to Val Kilmer.
Oh, Val Kilmer's like, shoot the dog.
Yeah.
Well, Val Kilmer was like, make sure that your fingerprint isn't anywhere.
Yeah.
And he was just like, it's in the dog's mouth right now. And then dog ate it. It's not a problem anymore. Fingerprint's gone.
And the two of them especially, you just, even they're on a scene over the phone. They've got a great back and forth. Just
Yeah.
both actors just got good comic timing, and perhaps not necessarily at this time known for doing comedy.
Yeah. Initially, for the first half hour, I didn't like Val Kilmer very much. There's 2 ways that Hollywood people play who aren't gay, who are cast as gay people. They either fall into the trap of playing a real, like, offensive stereotype, a really over-the-top, like, flailing, mincing kind of, or they'll just not give it any characterization at all, and they'll refuse to do that, and they'll just play completely straight. And both I find problematic for different reasons. So at first I thought Val Kilmer was doing the latter. I thought, okay, he's gay and that's the running joke, but Val Kilmer's not playing the character as particularly camp or anything. But then as the film went on, I noticed he was putting just enough little details in that I found really fun. He wasn't a stereotype by any means, and I liked that. I really liked that he was, he was a gay man who was also like,
He's
would
very
kick your ass.
strong,
He was very, really capable, really strong, really like ruthless.
Together,
a great agent. But he also had that, just those little hints of like sassiness and sarcasticness that I came to really enjoy. And he had really great, like, subtle chemistry with Robert Downey Jr. It wasn't like a lot of films like these, it would descend into a lot of like screaming and shouting and pratfalls, and there wasn't really a lot of that. It was just this constant, like, low-key passive aggression between the two of them, which I really enjoyed. So
but at the same time, I think Black feels really sort of pleased with himself that he came up with the idea of, because the character, because it's adapted from a book, but there was not a gay Perry in the book.
Right, sure.
And so Black came up with that as the idea for the film. This is going to be the guy this guy partners with. I think he felt so pleased with himself that he allowed himself to have pretty much everyone else, bar Monaghan, be, if not homophobic, which some of them actively are, then at least freaked out by the idea of people being gay.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That's why I found him annoying in the first half hour, because it was like his sole personality trait. And as it went on, I think the strength of Val Kilmer's performance and the fact that it was very funny, I got over it. But yeah, there were lots of like, oh, that was a really gay sentence. So that's the gayest thing I've ever heard. Oh, and there's, it's always a real treat when there's a same-sex kiss followed by retching. I always find that charming.
I was setting you up, dummy. This is
They're
real life.
not
That's what
setting
happens
me
in real
up.
life.
You
People
know,
freak out. They
Shut up.
improvise.
You change your tune every 5 minutes.
Quick, kiss me.
What? Kiss me. No.
Check out Doris and Lucinda over here.
These lessons suck. I quit. This is not being a detective. Corpses floating in lakes, people kissing people. This is wrong. This is every shade of wrong.
On the Val Kilmer note, I don't want to be cruel, but what's wrong with his face?
It looks like he's somebody who used to be a lot thinner than he is, but just in the face.
Well, I think he's I read he lost a lot of weight to play the role and then gained it back.
I guess.
Well, I guess losing weight isn't a straightforward. I don't know if he never lost any, just gained it.
It's weird, just he's got a very large head.
I think it's the same. This is all just my opinion, allegedly, I don't know. But I think it's the same with John Travolta, where I think they've both at some point had some kind of plastic surgery, like some kind of a facelift or something, and then they've gained weight. And I think when you gain weight and you've had plastic surgery or Botox, whatever it might be, it makes your face stretch out in an unusual way. Because his face looked like almost like square. It was like his face was drawn onto a balloon or something. That's the best way I could describe it. Like his eyes and mouth were drawn onto a balloon. You know, you draw a face on a balloon.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like to me. It's insane. Like, because normally if you gain weight and your face fills out a little bit, it's more like, maybe around the jowls and the chin. But his was just like, it was just like a stretched canvas. It was like the face of Bo from Doctor Who or something. It was just very distracting. It was weird. Like, yeah, he's definitely an odd-looking chap.
But without him and Downey Jr. in the lead, the film wouldn't. That they are the film as far as I'm
absolutely.
It's those two. Michelle Monaghan's good. She doesn't really get the same kind of amount to do, but it's those two and some great voiceover, some very witty voiceover, and some very clever lines.
Yeah.
How about you, Harry? Did your father love you?
Sometimes, when I dressed up like a bottle. How about yours?
Well, he used to beat me in Morse code, so it's possible, but he never actually said the words. Harry.
But yeah, what did you think of Michelle Monaghan?
Which one?
The girl.
The woman.
The one woman in the film.
Yes, the one
who wasn't dead.
I could swear she was Liv Tyler for like the whole thing.
She does have a Liv Tyler look about her, yeah. I just really noticed once again it was a lot of acting in the eyebrows.
Yeah.
Very expressive eyebrows, much like Amelia Lilly Amelia Clark. Who's Amelia Lilly?
No idea.
Not a person.
A friend?
Possibly. I think I might have been thinking of Evangeline Lilly. When we saw Amelia Clark in Me Before You, and it was all the acting was up here, lots of eyebrow raising and acting in the face. She was good. She was very funny in places. As confusing as the plot was, and as hard to follow as the plot was, the one moment when I literally went, wait, what? I need to rewind it, was when it was revealed that Robert Downey Jr. and her went to school together.
Oh, because they'd been having a conversation at a bar, which implied they were strangers.
Oh no, it wasn't I could totally understand that they...
They're the same age.
It's the fact that they're supposed to be the same age I was like, what? No. Like, he's
he's got 10 years,
15 years older than her and looks it like...
Also, was anybody a little frustrated? The opening scene with a little girl getting chopped in half as a magic show, that she didn't actually get chopped in half. Has that ever been done on film?
Monster.
Where
I'm sure it has.
I'm getting bored of the trope of somebody just screaming like, oh my god, the trick's gone wrong, and then all of a sudden, no, it's not gone wrong actually, that was the whole trick.
Yeah.
It's boring. I want to see someone get chopped in half.
Okay, I thought I was dark.
Watch
a
Saw.
small child.
Have they done it in Saw yet?
What, killed a kid?
No, I mean like done a magic trick.
I don't know, I watched one of those films and that was enough.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of torture porn. That scene made me really anxious actually. There's a little girl, and I thought that was what they were going to do, and that was.
They were playing on your expectations.
Yeah, totally.
Well, I didn't know what film I was watching at this point either, so could have been anything.
Yeah.
And now for my shocking finale. Not for the squeamish, not for the faint of heart. I Follow my trick. The jaws of death. Ow! Say it. Say it.
Harold, use your awesome might, save me from this hopeless plight.
No harm will come to you. Alakazam!
I'm going to be an actress.
I did feel like this film really objectified Michelle Monaghan a lot. I mean, there's literally a scene where she's crying about her dead sister and the camera pans in on her nipple. And I know it's the joke about Harry because he is Robert Downey Jr.'s character, because he's that kind of an arsehole and he is just like, you know, he's just noticing that her nipple's hanging free, and it's a punchline, but there's a lot of that. There's lots of...
I don't really say that's making him an asshole. I think the film really goes out of its way to try and make him not look like an asshole.
Well,
for a lot of it,
they want you to know that he's trying to fight his base instincts.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not wearing a low-cut top right now, but if my nipple fell out now, you'd probably notice.
I'd probably be distracted. Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. Okay.
But yeah, I think the film goes out of its way, sometimes to its detriment, to say, look, this guy is not an asshole. Okay. Which, I don't know, sometimes it didn't quite fit.
I thought they get the mix of like, he generally is, but he's trying. You know what I mean? Like, there's a really good scene where some creep's trying to sneak his hand up past out Michelle Monaghan's dress, and Downey makes a big stand about protecting her, and it's just like hard cut to him just getting the shit beaten out of him.
That was
and it's funny,
and
it's good for character because you're like, oh, he's trying, but he's not a tough guy. He's not Perry. Perry's a tough guy.
Yeah.
Downey's not.
I think it's a typical Robert Downey Jr. character where he's a lovable bastard. So yeah. He's a bit of a bastard, but he's like you love him for it. He's
in the same way that he is as Iron Man.
Yeah,
I think it's very different as Iron Man.
Okay,
because in Iron Man he is quite sexist, and it happens in like the second scene of the film where he's just banging some random reporter who wants to do a piece on him.
Okay, sure.
But this film, it's very much just like he's very good to women, and this is how all men should be to women, which is great to see.
Yeah,
just at some point it kind of took me out of it.
But then he's not. You still think that because like he did sleep with her friend. He was trying to impress Michelle Monaghan, whose character's name's Harmony, I believe. And the first night they all hook up, or they all hang out. He sleeps with her friend.
Yeah,
that's not exactly Dynamite.
I did forget about that. Thank you.
And also he does slut shame a little bit when he's like, I don't want to sleep with you because just another one of the guys you sleep with. And I know that's like supposed to be romantic, but it's also a little bit like, you know, you let her decide how she wants to lead her sex life. Don't tell her she's wrong for how much sex she may or may not be having.
Or may not have had 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then gets really annoyed when he finds out she did sleep with his best friend after all.
None of his business.
Yeah, odd scene.
Especially if he did the same.
Exactly,
thing.
he did. Hypocrite.
But like a day before, as opposed to 20 years before.
He didn't really reflect on that, did he? But yeah, but the film's definitely like objectified her as well, because it made me get really confused about the passage of time, because there was a scene towards the end when she shows up and she's still wearing that how much time was she in that Christmas dress for?
A lot.
Yeah, so it got like, is it still the same day? Like,
they're Thanksgiving, then that leads through to Christmas. That's the whole festive season.
Yeah.
You can wear that kind of dress that whole time.
Yeah, I guess maybe she just only had that one dress. Like,
If she was a struggling actress, she could afford one non-Christmas dress, one Christmas dress.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's her whole wardrobe. Yeah. I did enjoy the advert she did for Generos Beers. That was
with the bear.
Yeah,
that bear was creepy. I did not like that bear. He didn't look nice. There was something about his eyes that just was scary. And sucking the heads off fish. What's that about?
I don't think that's a real beer, I assume.
I would hope not. Well, if it is, it's not going to sell anything.
Gennaro's, pure drinking pleasure.
I prefer Gennaro's, but what do I know? I'm a bear. I suck the heads off fish.
Gennaro's.
I know what you mean with the drama and the comedy elements kind of not quite gelling all the time. There was a lot of very jarring jumps from one to the other. Like the scene where the girl in the purple wig gets shot.
The Ramona Flowers wig.
Yeah, the Ramona Flowers wig from Scotland Pilgrim, exactly, yeah. And then suddenly the film stops for this really sad moment where he looks into this girl's eyes and watches her die.
Oh, and then she tries to say something to him and he denies her last words.
Yeah.
He didn't have another option, no. His option was to deny her last words and then frame her for the murder of this other man.
Yeah.
Well, he avenged her, then framed her.
Yeah.
Oh, but one scene we haven't talked about that I really enjoyed. Towards the end of the film, Val Kilmer and Robert Downey Jr. are being tortured. And as Harry referenced in the intro, what happens is Robert Downey Jr. has electrodes attached to his testicles and is electrocuted repeatedly. And Val Kilmer saves the day by revealing he has a tiny, tiny gun hidden in his balls, do you say? In his crotch?
Just in his pants.
Yeah, the front of his pants.
And so you have an amazing scene of Val Kilmer literally shooting a guy with his crotch.
Yeah.
Pointing his crotch at people he's shooting, which is from a chair. It's really funny.
Now, one thing I thought about, while sitting down with your hand in your pocket, can you reach your crotch? Or was he operating the gun with something else?
Oh, like some kind of stick or something?
I meant his penis.
With his penis. Oh,
I love it when you don't look onto things.
Well, if there was one shot, I'd still probably say probably not. But he fired a lot of shots from that crotch gun.
He'd have to really have good penis control at that moment.
Maybe he does. Who knows?
So you're saying he has to give himself a hard on and then just swing it around a little bit, right?
I'm sure he's practiced.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah, well. But to point to aim it as well, that's hard. It's really hard work. That's risky business.
It's an art.
Yeah.
Come on, Aurelio, look me in the eyes and tell me you've never been with a man.
Fuck you, maricon! Fuck!
That's what you want, isn't it? You want to fuck me, don't you? Stop helping. Come over here.
Stop helping!
Why can't you say it? If you're not gay, just say so.
Fuck you, maricon!
Harry, look at him. He can't even say it.
Stop helping!
Why can't you just say
I
it?
can't wait to have you as a patient.
Bet you can't.
I can't believe
Because this is what you want right here.
Shut up!
Take a look. Take a look. You want some of this right here? Look at this, huh?
How about some of this? Want some of this?
Homophobes never check there.
Thank God you had a gun in there for a second. I thought it was like a gay thing, like somehow you guys could do that. Sorry.
People take a lot of physical abuse in this film, particularly Harry.
Yeah.
But, Harry, and also the corpse.
Well, yeah, the film's got a very slapstick sensibility at times.
Does. It felt to me like a Neo Noir mixed with the Animaniacs. At times, that real cartoon vibe to it. So he loses a finger. Michelle Monaghan slams the door on his finger and it just falls off. The finger is then eaten by a dog. He's brutally beaten early in the film when he tries to rescue Michelle Monaghan from being groped in her sleep. He has his testicles electrocuted repeatedly for some time. And at the end, he gets shot. He gets shot at the end of the film.
Well, Perry takes a bullet for him, but he also gets hit.
He also gets hit because he thinks the book has stopped it, and then he
which
realizes
is nice, a nice subversion of a cliche.
And then he realizes it's gone through the book and it has actually gone through into his chest. But he lives obviously. But yeah, he really takes a lot of.
Well, the end of the film before you get to the kind of epilogue, it's just the three characters all lying almost dead.
Yeah, and I did wonder because this film's 12 years old and it doesn't have a sequel. I thought, is it going to end with them all dying? That'd be a cool twist, but then obviously it did not.
But the film kind of does have a sequel when you think about it.
Oh God, what have you got?
Well, no, because in about 2016, you've got a Shane Black directed LA set film about a tough guy and a charming loser who team up to solve a mystery with the aid of a porn film. And it's The Nice Guys with Ryan Gosling and what's his face, Crow. Is
this a Get Out being John Malkovich scenario?
But it's a very similar film.
Okay.
I mean, obviously it's the same guy and he's got a style. But I'm sure one bit you see a young detective or something like that whose name is Perry, which I think is supposed to be a little... but The Nice Guys definitely feels to me to be a spiritual sequel to...
I've not seen it.
I've not seen it either, yeah.
And it's kind of like this film, but it's slightly better done.
Okay.
So I know you said this film almost makes it there. I think The Nice Guys gets a bit closer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got slightly less issues. It's still kind of that kind of all over the case plot. But it's just a bit more together.
Yeah.
And so if anyone hasn't seen The Nice Guys, it's on Netflix. It's very worth watching. Especially if you like this and you haven't seen that. Then I'd recommend it.
So, should we get into drinking games?
Yes, let's. Drink for angry door slamming.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Obviously, double drink if someone loses a digit, but just in general, there was just a lot of angry door slamming in this film.
Yeah.
Come on!
Get out of my life!
I'm at the airport, right? And I run into Flicka, and she just...
Did I just cut off your finger?
Yeah. It's on the floor to my periphery. I don't want to see it. Pick it up. Put it on ice. Pick it up. Pick it up. Pick it up. Pick it up. Thanks.
Drink every time someone acts homophobic. Drink uncomfortably.
Drink for any reference to Christmas.
Yes. Definitely.
Merry Christmas. Sorry I fucked you over.
No problem. Don't quit your gay job.
This was a minor runner I enjoyed, actually. Drink for grammar discussions.
Is that? I don't remember any.
It was like, I feel badly. You mean you feel bad? Bad. And then it comes up again, and it's like...
Picture a bullet in your head.
Picture a bullet in your head.
Oh, there's the great one with that... if you look up in the dictionary the definition of the word idiot.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great, like, you can tell the director of the film is a writer. It's a very written joke, but it's a very funny joke.
Yeah.
What will you see?
Yeah. There's lots of them. There's lots of little grammar jokes, and I really like that, because I like a grammar joke. I'm an English graduate. I love a grammar joke.
Get out.
Sorry about the gun.
Whatever. Out. Go. Sleep badly. Any questions, hesitate to call.
Bad.
Excuse me?
Sleep bad. Because otherwise it makes it seem like the mechanism that allows you to sleep.
What? Fuckhead? Badly's an adverb. Who taught you grammar? Get out. Vanish.
Drink every time you wonder what happened to Michelle Monaghan.
Like, where is she?
She did like that same sort of period. She did Source Code. She did MI3. This. I'm not quite sure what happened to her. But she was.
Oh, in life. I thought you meant in the film, because she does disappear for long stretches of the film.
Drink. Both.
No. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, because she didn't really do much after this.
I haven't kept track, but she might have been successful in something.
She's probably in some Netflix series. Everybody is.
Yeah.
So.
Good luck to her.
Yeah, indeed.
Drink whenever they break the fourth wall.
Okay.
I say they. I mean.
Yeah.
RDJ.
Yes. When he talks about the editing and comments. Yeah, that's a good one. Solid one.
Mom's gone, so it's just him and his born-again little bundle of joy.
Born again? That's precious.
Isn't it, though? 3 months ago, she was suing him over Mom's millions. He called her a bad word. Cunt. Welcome to Hollywood.
Okay, I apologize. That is a terrible scene. It's like, why was that in the movie? Gee, you think maybe it'll come back later? Maybe? I hate that. A TV's on talking about the new power plant. Wonder where the climax will happen. Or that shot of the cook in Hunt for Red October. So anyway, sorry.
And drink whenever something bad happens to that corpse. That poor, disrespected corpse.
Yeah.
She gets shot in the head. She gets weed on. Gets urinated on, which again was pretty funny.
Chucked out of a window.
Chucked out of a window, yeah. Falls over a bridge. Did you think her arm was going to come off? Did you think that was
Yeah, you are kind of waiting for the snap.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a weird showdown. Him hanging from this dead body's hand above a bridge, and he gets to do some fast gun work. And just like it just ends. He's like, well, I might as well just kill everyone.
Yeah. Did you feel like at the ending, that ending was quite abrupt?
Yeah.
It was like, oh, they're dead now. Like, the villains were very, like, he was barely on screen. Like, the main villain. This is what I mean about his heart to follow.
The old man was
the
villain,
old man
wasn't he?
is in, like, 2 scenes, and he's our main villain, yeah. So it felt like the ending was quite abrupt. But I guess, like you said, this film was about the journey, not the destination, so...
Well, because they drink every time you lose track of the plot.
Oh, gosh, yes. Or the drinking might not help, but...
Drink water every time you lose track of the plot.
Yeah.
Just to balance it out.
Yeah. Pause the film and make some cliff notes every time you lose track of the plot.
That's me done.
Okay, same. Okay, cool.
Lovely.
Before we move on to our sequels, there's one more thing I do want to discuss that we haven't. I want to see if you two picked up on this too. So, this film ended, and the credits rolled. And, so I was kind of, when the credits roll, I tend to, like, check out, but I didn't turn it off, I kept it running. And so I just, like, played with my phone, and the credits roll, and there's this song playing. And I noticed this song, I was like, my God, this song is terrible. It is awful. It's so distractingly bad. And it was this, like, sub-sting kind of worldy music-y meets rock bollocks ballad. It was terrible, and it really didn't fit.
I know where you're going.
Yeah, it really didn't fit at all with the style of the film, and I was like, why? What is this song, and why have they chosen this of all things? Because I didn't recognise it to be at the end of the film. So I waited for the song credits to come at the very end of the credits, and this song was written by and performed by Robert Downey Jr.
Great.
So obviously he took this film for very little money, and
I have to check that out.
He was like, "Yeah, I'll be on it, but I want to sing over the credits." Yeah, it is,
which isn't something you get a lot in films. Outside of Jackie Chan films.
Is he trying to be Will Smith?
He wasn't rapping. I mean,
okay.
Dear God. But, so this is the story all about how my life got turned upside down. I'm not a rapper. But yeah, I found that quite funny because it was a real terrible song, in my opinion.
Oh God.
Cool. Okay. Sequels. Do you want me to go first, or do you mind?
Oh, I'll go first.
You sure?
Yeah, mine's only quite short this week. Unless you want to go first, Chris.
No. Guests always in the middle. That's our rule. So.
The guest sandwich.
Yes.
So mine is actually, well, it's a series of different ideas.
Okay.
Rather than one big one. It's just all the what ifs for. Well, this film had a lot of coincidences, didn't it?
Sure.
Definitely.
Now, what if each of these coincidences went the other way around?
Okay.
So I come up with a different idea for each one.
Okay.
So it starts off with a film called Bang. The film about two robbers who get caught, get shot at once. The bullet goes through the first guy and into the other guy's chest, and they both die.
Oh, so that's in the early scene when they're robbing from the toy store.
Yeah.
So Robert Downey Jr. dies in the first scene.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Second film, Bang Jail. The film about the robber whose partner gets shot. He runs from the cops into the back of the first building he finds, which happens to be a police precinct.
Because in the film he runs into an audition room. They think he's the actor who's turned up to audition, and it just so happens the scene is about someone whose partner's just been killed and who feels responsible. Mm-hmm. So he starts reading the script to kind of blend in, and then realises it is actually his life and has this massive breakdown. And they go, "Wow, this guy improvs really well."
But it's also a good sort of meta joke because obviously he was known for being troubled and being in trouble with the law.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, was he being an artist or was he just being like a crimp? I don't know. You know, it feels like it feels perfect casting. As you said, because he's one of the highlights of the film. Yes.
Cool, good one.
Oh, no, we're not ready for you yet, sir. Will you please go back out, wait with the others?
Grace, do me a favor. Let's just take him. He's ready. You ready, right?
You ready? Okay, come on. You know the setup? Got any questions?
He's got no questions. Look at him. Let's go. Come on.
Let's read. Where is he? Where's Raphael?
Where's he? Beat up on me all night. You want me to give up my partner? You can go spit.
Quit acting like the good guy, jerk-off. You got your partner killed. He was in over his head. You knew it. You may as well have pulled the trigger. You killed him.
No, I didn't kill him. He wanted in. Why? I didn't want him to come in on it. He insisted. I said, you gotta stay at home, but he doesn't listen to me. He's such a stupid son of a bitch. I killed him, didn't I? Oh, fuck, this is my fault. I'm sorry.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Old school method.
The studio.
Brando, put this in the pouch to LA and get me Gay Perry on the phone.
Next one's called Bang Bang. The film about a robber who gets in a bit over his head with a very convoluted plot, but also who never bumps into any old school friends at random parties.
Yeah, good one.
Bang Bang Case Unresolved. Robert Downey Jr. and Val Kilmer are working on a case, follow their only lead to a lake in the middle of nowhere, only to find nothing because the car was a little bit inefficient and turns up 10 seconds late.
Very good.
Kiss Kiss But No Bang. RDJ doesn't really get anywhere with What's-Her-Face because there was no convenient boob spider.
Oh, that was a strange scene.
It was odd.
It was a funny bit of like physical comedy, I guess, but it was really having its cake and eating it again, which this does a lot by really objectifying Michelle Monaghan so much, but also kind of joking about it and commenting on it at the same time, which is still kind of objectifying it. But yeah, so that's the scene where he's putting her to bed and obviously wearing like a low-cut top or something, and yeah, so he's looking at her breasts and he's like, no, I'm going to be a gentleman, and then he sees a spider crawl into her cleavage basically, and yeah.
But he was a spider because he's a gentleman.
Yeah, but of course, hilariously, it looks as though he's just fondling her breasts. Yeah, so. Good.
Next one's called Kiss Kiss Bang No Bang.
Kiss Kiss Bang No Bang.
Bang No Bang.
Okay. Wow.
The body which turns up in his hotel, they throw it off the roof and it lands in the bin first time as opposed to just bouncing out of it, and even closes the lid with its impact. They both think, you know what, that'll do. And the next morning the bin men empty the bin without notes in the body, which is then crushed and incinerated.
Ah, great.
Kiss No Kiss Bang Bang.
Gosh, these are getting to be a mouthful. It sounded like you put like famous song titles through Google Translate or something.
She doesn't chop off his finger, but instead slams the door against his wrist, causing a fracture, but leaving him able to take care of himself. She feels no guilt or sympathy, but continues telling him to go away. The end of their relationship. Kiss Kiss, Bang 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 Bang. The owner of the nacho stand doesn't have a gun, and so Val Kilmer and that other bad guy, they start having a massive gunfight, which ends up in a car chase. Probably a lot of police involved, maybe even bigger guns. Maybe there's a bazooka in the back of somebody's car. Ends up they both die. Kiss, kiss, bang, death. When the pink-haired girl gets in the car, she notices Robert Downey Jr. in the back, struggling with his finger, not really conscious. She dumps him on the side of the road, bumping his head quite badly. Nobody finds him in time, and he dies on the street.
Oh, bleak. Very bleak.
And my last one, my favourite one.
Okay.
Click, 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 bang.
Okay.
In the parking lot, the gun doesn't go off until the fourth time, and it turns out the guy really actually doesn't know anything about the girl.
Okay.
But still dies on the fourth run anyway.
Oh, no. Can I propose one more that just occurred to me? How about Kiss, Kiss, Cillit Bang? And he doesn't get the job as the police detective, but instead gets a lucrative job advertising surface cleaning polish. Yeah.
Nice.
And,
yeah.
End of film.
Could also be cleaning up after where bodies are left.
Yeah, maybe he starts cleaning. Yeah, that could work. Cool. Yeah, I thought they were all good. Very interesting.
Thank you.
Some good options there. A good punnage. We always enjoy a bit of punnage on this show. Do you want to go?
Yeah, well, speaking of punnage, I read Michelle Monaghan said if there was a sequel to this film, it should be called Kiss Kiss Gang Bang.
Right.
Good, yeah.
Wasn't the title I went with, but it's some nice pun work.
Okay.
Mine, I went with Ding Dong and Dynamite.
Ding Dong and Dynamite, my God. Okay.
So, current day, same casts.
Mm-hmm.
And we begin with Perry's wedding to a young guy named Alexander, who's Dutch.
Okay.
I was thinking a lot of times you get films where characters seem to be sort of gay in name only, that it's kind of, we're told they are, that's as far as the characterization goes.
Yeah.
That could potentially be the case here where he's literally called Gay Perry.
Yeah.
So I figured I wanted to do some of his character. I wanted to give him a bit more uniqueness, right? So it's his wedding. He's totally loved up and is elated for his big day. His two best people are going to be Harry and Harmony. And so Harry's still working with him as a detective, private eye type thing. Harmony writes crime novels, because that seems to be quite big these days. But on the wedding night, in the wee hours, Perry's new husband dies. Heart problem, he's dead. Right? Understandably, Perry is completely broken by this. And so Iceman from Top Gun is taken on a trip from the guy from the Wonder Boys and the lady from Gone Baby Gone. They get on a plane to get him out of his funk. They're en route to Europe, but due to a freak snowstorm, they're downed in New York. So the film's mainly going to take place in New York, because I figured it's a good thing in the sequels is reversals of locations. So they
Go
were
from the West Coast to the East Coast.
Yeah. And Downey's character is from New York. In there, so I flipped it.
Yeah.
In the style of Rush Hour 2, where they go from where Chris Tucker's from to where Jackie Chan's character's from. It's a good, something I quite like in sequels, the flip. So they're in New York, right? And in the airport, because it's Christmas, that's why there's snow. Shane Black is Christmas. And Perry sees his dead husband walk by.
Ooh.
Mystery, right? Mystery. So he just takes off.
Did we see your dead body before?
Yes.
Okay.
So he just takes off in pursuit. So he's going to spend the film trying to track down this walking corpse, and his friends are trying to track him down. But as they do, they get caught up in a lot of the mess Harry left behind in New York. He's got debts, he's got enemies, and Harmony's sort of shocked by his life of crime and drugs and lounge singing. Right? And so he's got to convince her that he's not the man he was. That's their plot.
Right.
About her being exposed to the real Harry or the old Harry. He may also find himself strapped with dynamite up his arse. Because I put dynamite in the title and I couldn't quite work out where to put it.
Sure.
As it were.
Up the arse is,
So she has to, they have to cut the green wire, cut the blue wire. There's one of those scenes, but the dynamite is there.
Feels like something Shane Black would do.
Yeah, well, there's a scene in one of the Lethal Weapons where somebody's on the toilet and it's a bomb.
Yeah.
So it's a bit like that, but a bit more bass.
Yeah.
So Perry thinks he sees Alex a few fleeting times as a chase and the like. But he also finds out he's got no money in his accounts.
Right, okay.
Him and his friends track down this lookalike, and it turns out A, it is his ex-husband, or his husband. B, he's not actually Dutch. He's from Southampton.
Nice.
C,
All places.
he's alive and faked his death with some sort of thing people inject to make.
Okay, sure, yeah.
And D, he'd been fleecing Perry of his cash and investments.
Oh no.
I like how the third thing you came up with was he's actually alive.
Yeah.
You've got to work out where to place these things. And so Val Kilmer, he's got to acknowledge that he's been a bit of a foolish guy. He's become this aging cliche, which he maybe once made fun of.
Yeah.
And now they've caught Alexander. He wants to make him pay / get his money back. So him and Harry play a little game of Russian roulette.
Oh no.
And several empty shots later, it works. The guy does like a transfer back or something like that. But Harry is shocked to learn that Perry put a bullet in the chamber. It didn't go off, but he put one in there.
Right, okay.
And so they've learnt their lessons. Money's back. They're headed home on a plane. And the plane is again grounded. Cyclone, maybe. The plane is landed in Iowa, or wherever Harry and Harmony are from. Mm-hmm. And third film will be set there. And I'd actually give Harmony something to do in the third film, because they didn't, and I didn't really.
Okay. Shame on you.
Yeah, but third film,
Okay.
that's her jam.
Oh, so is it like the current Star Wars trilogy? The first one's the Robert Downey Jr. film.
Yeah.
That one was the Val Kilmer film. The next one's the Michelle Monaghan film.
Yeah.
Cool.
I like it.
Yeah, good. Very good. Cool. I can see that working.
What was it called again?
Ding Dong and Dynamite.
Ding Dong and
Ding
Dynamite.
Dong.
Like Ding Dong, like the wedding bells.
Yeah.
Dynamite because it
There's
was
dynamite
illiterate.
as well,
And so I had the title before I worked out where to use the dynamite.
Oh, it's the best way. Cool. Okay, so move on to my one now. So, in a nice little bit of synergy, my sequel was kind of inspired by an episode of your podcast, Easy Riders Raging podcast, that I was listening to the other day about another film. I won't tell you which one, but consequently, you might figure out quite quickly where this is going. But keep the surprise.
I will. I'm not going to.
By all means,
will I figure this out?
I don't think you'll have seen what I'm riffing on. But,
Okay.
I don't think you'll need to understand what's happening, but I think pretty early you're going to be like, oh, that's what you're doing. And by all means, comment, but don't,
Sure.
Don't ruin it, Because last week, somebody ruined my story quite early. So.
Get it before it happened. That never happens.
Yeah.
It never
It's
happens.
about 10 minutes into the episode.
I know. I was well chuffed.
So, anyway, my sequel is called Who's Afraid of Gay Perry?
I know where it's going.
Yeah, sorry, Harry's looking blank. I'm pretty sure you've not seen the film I'm referencing here.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
No.
Similar sounding.
Okay, I will continue. Okay. Basically, this is a riff on the film Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, which you featured recently. Which
Whatever happened to Baby Jane?
No, I just said who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. It's a 60s melodrama.
Who's Virginia Woolf?
Well, she's a writer, but she's not in the film. It's confusing, but never mind. The point is, let me tell my story.
All right.
So, when thinking about how to follow the story, I was really fascinated by the idea of Harry as the unreliable narrator. Because the film's constantly undercutting itself. It's always commenting on the fact that it's a film. And he's constantly saying, oh, that's not really how it happened, or that is how it happened. He has the power to rewind and edit.
Yeah, he's like, shit, I'm a bad narrator.
Yeah.
Let's wind back. Oh, didn't I mention that?
Yeah, so you think what's real and what isn't. So that kind of made me think a little bit. And so hence this idea came. So it's a direct sequel, sometime after the events of the original film. It could be 10 years later to make up for the fact that the actors have aged, but it doesn't have to. It's not really relevant, particularly how long it's been, but it's just sometime after the original film. Harry and Perry are still working together, and we open with Perry, gay Perry, who is gay, pacing around his apartment, looking mildly agitated. After a few minutes, Robert Downey Jr. staggers in, and he seems drunk. So gay Perry, Val Kilmer, says, where the hell have you been? And Harry, kind of bleary-eyed, says, I was staking out the party like you asked me to. I've given myself a lot of dialogue and my voice isn't great this week. It's not the best.
I believe in you.
Okay, I'll power through it. So yeah, he's like, where the hell have you been? And Robert Downey Jr. says, I was staking out the party like you asked me to. And so Perry's like, well, anything? And RBD says, yeah, it was very enlightening, in fact. And then there's a buzz at the door and he says, very quickly, I invited a couple of potential clients back for a nightcap. So he opens the door and a younger couple walk in, played by some actors maybe in their early 30s. I just put down Donald Glover and Scarlett Johansson. Doesn't really matter, just a cool
thing. It works.
Everyone likes him.
Yeah. So Perry is furious, but he is also a gay man, and so being a good host is in his bones. So
does he cook some peri peri chicken?
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Oh.
I wanted to have a scene in Nando's in mind where I could use that pun, but there's no Nando's in New York as far as I'm aware.
No, I don't think it's crossed over. So anyway, as a gay man, he has to be a good host, is what we do. So he fixes the couple a drink reluctantly and tries to be polite. However, he also kind of very unsubtly grabs Harry, pulls him to one side and hisses at him. what do you think you're doing inviting these people back here? And Harry replies, relax, he's some super rich scientist and he thinks someone might have murdered his partner. This could be a big money case. So they start talking with their guests, but it's increasingly awkward because Perry is still furious at Harry and they can't resist just sniping back and forth at each other. Much like they do in the film, there's a lot of them bitching at each other. And at one point, Donald Glover, who we'll call Nick, let's say his character's called Nick, says, so you two live together? And I've got to be honest, I didn't realise you swung that way. And Harry says, I don't. It's purely a temporary measure. My girlfriend's out of town at the moment. You should see her though. Huge breasts, legs like a gazelle, the eyebrows of an ethnically ambiguous dragon queen. She's got the package. She is hot.
He wouldn't say any of that.
Well, I don't know. I was trying to write as Robert Downey Jr. I don't think it worked.
If you're writing as Iron Man, as Tony Stark, then yeah, maybe.
Well, just go with it. Go with it.
Sorry.
I'm picking up on things I know. So Perry rolls his eyes and pours another drink.
Oh wait, I just want to tell you, he's worked for the Black Widows come around to Tony Stark's house.
Oh yeah.
Oh, love to say it was deliberate. It was not. So as they get drunker through the night, Harry continues to kind of taunt Perry, and by doing that thing he did in the original film, we're claiming everything he ever said or did was just like super gay. So every sentence he says, he's like, he walks like a gay, he talks like a gay, he's just a big gay. So like, that's the gayest sentence I've ever said. That's the gayest drink you've ever poured. This is the gayest walk you've ever walked. All that kind of stuff. Just constant needling at him. And, Perry ignores him at first. He just, brushes it off. This happens all the time. But eventually he snaps and he just angrily smashes a bottle on the table. And so it's like everyone's shocked. And the young couple are stunned. And the woman, Scarlett Johansson, who we're going to call Honey, she runs to the bathroom to vomit.
Nick and Honey,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Carry on.
She runs to the bathroom to throw up because she's very drunk as well. They've turned up drunk. So Perry walks outside to cool off. And Nick, the young man, this Donald Glover, follows him. And he apologises. He's a bit more together than his wife, girlfriend. And he says, look, I'm really sorry if us being here is causing you guys tension. And he says, no, Perry says, no, it's fine. It's not you. It's just that Harry's a complete asshole. You and your wife seem lovely. I'm sorry you're having to witness this. And Donald Glover admits that Honey is not actually his wife. She's actually a prostitute that he used to hire to take to parties to make himself look cool. Mm-hmm. But then she ended up never leaving, and they ended up now they're kind of a couple, but he's embarrassed about it, but he's too embarrassed to dump her. Mm-hmm. He's afraid she'll tell people, so he doesn't really respect her. So she's just kind of this prostitute, basically. Anyway, so they have this little bonding moment, and they go back inside, where Harry is now dancing very flirtatiously with Honey. They're kind of slow dancing, there's music playing, etc. He's grinding against her.
Is the music his singing?
Yeah, let's say it is, yeah. Let's say it's some awful...
The atmosphere's ruined.
Yeah, it's really incongruous, but he thinks it's super sexy. And she's really drunk, and she's kind of into it, so they're just inappropriately sexy dancing in the middle of the apartment. Mm-hmm. So Nick, Donald Glover suggests, we've outstayed our welcome, you're drunk, it's definitely time to go home. But Perry refuses to let them pay for another cab because he feels bad about the situation. And as the least drunk of the four at this point, he offers to drive them back to where they live, to their home. So the four of them jump into Val Kilmer's car and set off, driving through LA. And on the way, they pass a small nightclub. And Honey, who is now absolutely wasted, demands that they go in because she wants to dance. So she jumps out of the car, and Harry agrees, and they both run into this nightclub. And Nick and Perry reluctantly follow. This nightclub is actually about to kick out. It's like the early hours of the morning at this point, so it's empty. But Harry slips the barman a few $100s to stay open just for them, which they do. So they've basically got the bar to themselves. Mm-hmm. So once again, him and Honey are soon dancing sexily and very provocatively together, while Perry and Nick just sit at the bar glumly, knocking back drinks, getting drunker and drunker and angrier and angrier. Eventually, Perry just snaps again, walks over to the sound system and just yanks the wires out. He's like, it's time to go. This party's over. So Harry, who's now hammered, complains that Perry never lets him have any fun. So he gets very angry too, and he gets very resentful. He's like, did I ever tell you that he's the reason I lost my fucking finger? And he holds up his mangled right hand, his missing index finger. Mm-hmm. And then Perry kind of says, oh, I thought your beautiful girlfriend did that to you. And Harry kind of throws him a dirty look and says, oh, you think you're so fucking clever. And then he kind of spits and he storms out with Honey in tow. And they jump into Perry's car and drive off, leaving Nick and Perry stranded at the bar. Mm-hmm. So Perry furiously hails a cab, jumps in, and Nick kind of haplessly follows him, jumps in as well. By the time they get back to Perry's apartment again, which is where Harry has taken Honey, they see that Perry's car has been crashed into the driveway. It's parked completely wrong, into a hedge or something, because they're drunk driving. And they walk into the apartment, and they find Honey is sat on the sofa, half naked, and she's crying. And Harry's kind of sat on the couch with his head in his hands. And Honey kind of goes, Nick, to Donald Glover, she goes, Nick, baby, I just want to go home. and she runs into her increasingly confused boyfriend's arms. And then Perry looks at the scene and says, "Let me guess, couldn't get it up, could you?" And Harry's like, "Fuck you, man. I just realised that I couldn't cheat on my beautiful, sexy girlfriend." and then Perry kind of gives him a snarling look and he goes, "About that, I'm afraid I've got some bad news." And he's like, "What?" And he's like, "I got a call earlier. I was going to tell you, but you didn't give me an opportunity. Harmony got into a car accident today. She's dead." And rather than get upset, Harry gets furiously angry. And he says, "Fuck you. You don't get to do that. We agreed that you don't get to do that. It's unfucking fair. It's cheating. You didn't get to make that decision." You know what's going on, do you?
Yeah.
So he's like,
I'm lost.
Yeah. So Perry's like, plays the innocent. He says, "What decision? It was a terrible accident. It's nothing to do with me." So Harry's just furious. He's like, "Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you and your fucking mind games." And then suddenly Nick, Donald Glover, has a moment of realization. And he realizes what's going on. And he goes, "My God, you made her up. There never was a Harmony, was there?" And Harry slumps back into his armchair, defeated. And Perry puts his hand on his shoulder. And then we get flashbacks to the original film. So now I'm going to explain what's happening for people who are as lost as you.
Right.
So I was really struck by the fact that the original Kiss Bang Bang was all through Harry's eyes because he's our narrator.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one scene that he's not part of, that he doesn't witness, when he's in the back of the car.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, he's everywhere. And he's the link between the other two characters. So now we're going to see flashbacks that re-show scenes from the original film and reveal that in that film, Harmony never existed. Michelle Monaghan's character never existed.
Right.
And actually what happened was that Harry came to LA, met Perry at a party, at the LA party. They ended up getting drunk and hooking up. This was Harry's first gay experience, and so he panicked because he was very deep in the closet and hadn't really come to terms with his bisexuality or anything. So they probably started snogging or something. And then at the last minute he panicked and he ended up running away and sleeping with a random woman instead.
Mm-hmm.
Much like the bit in the film where he's chatting up Michelle Monaghan and then sleeps with her friend.
Is that not Flicker? No, I can't remember.
Flicker, her name was, yeah. Which always makes me think of horses. But
yeah, my friend Flicker.
My friend Flicker. So he abandons the scene and he sleeps with this random woman. But then the next day he feels very conflicted. This has opened up a whole new world that he's never really allowed himself to think about before. And so he ends up going back to Perry's apartment to he wants to talk about what happened the night before. Perry's not happy that he abandoned him, so they have a big fight in which he slams the door on Robert Downey Jr.'s finger, losing the finger. So that all happens as well. So basically, as Harry is coming to terms with all this kind of shame and confusion and desire and all these kind of conflicting emotions, also his panic about being perceived as gay, which is a big issue for him. Because I felt like through that film, all of his that's gay stuff, and the fact that he literally retches when he kisses Val Kilmer. It was very gay panic.
Mm-hmm.
He was very afraid of being perceived as homosexual. So he invents the character of Harmony, this kind of sexually voracious and physically perfect, really sexualized woman, who nevertheless he is strangely resistant to sleeping with, because it does take him a long time to actually sleep with her.
Mm-hmm.
So he invents Harmony in his own mind, basically. Pretty much all the scenes we see with Harmony in the original film are actually happening with Perry, and some of the others are just fantasy scenes.
So there's going to be scenes with Perry in the sort of Santa dress.
Yes, maybe. Yeah. Well, that was the other thing, because the scene where they're at the party and she's in the Santa dress, and then Val Kilmer's character just appears, and it's like, where did he come from? How did he know they were at that party? There were lots of moments when he just appeared. That was when I started thinking, what if they were the same character? And so it all came from that. So yeah, so essentially we find out that Perry and Harmony were one and the same for the whole film, and all the things that happened with Harmony actually happened with Perry. And actually Perry was the childhood friend, except it was a boy back in their, sexually confused teens. Maybe they had a little thing and he repressed it and not thought about it, and all the memories are coming back, etc. He was the magician's assistant who went, "I'm an actress." I like the idea that Val Kilmer was really camp from the beginning. And even so, then it was when we get to the flashback where they go back home, when the bit where Val Kilmer's character confronts Harmony's dad.
Oh yeah.
He's actually confronting his own father.
Oh, that's quite clever.
Because he seemed emotionally invested in that, and he doesn't know.
Yeah.
He doesn't know from Adam.
Yeah.
So it was like, yeah, actually.
That weird ending.
Yeah, a very strange ending. Yeah.
Do you remember the bit?
Yeah. It was.
Where you think he's going to shoot the old man, but instead he just goes, "Yeah, big strong man," or "big boy,
He
big
just
strong
gives
boy."
him a couple of slaps.
So he gives him a bit of a bitch slap. And he's like, "Yeah, big strong boy." Yeah.
Fucker. If I could get out of this bed.
Yeah? Well, you can't.
You bastard. Oh, man, the can't defend himself. Big, tough guy.
Yeah, that's right. Big, tough guy.
Yeah, so basically, Harry has created the character of Harmony as a way of hiding his own feelings for Perry and the fact that he's in a same-sex relationship. And he's now, obviously, at the end of the film, apparently he was working with, and seems to have moved in with, Val Kilmer. Maybe it was where he had...
Well, weren't they in the office?
Was it an office?
I don't know.
It looked more like a kitchen to me.
Maybe.
I don't know. And yeah, they were just very touchy with each other because he was like holding his hand over his mouth. It just seemed very sweet and flirty. So I was like, maybe there's something here.
Well,
So,
they have the same kind of relationship as like him and Jude Law in Sherlock Holmes, where
Yes.
they're friends, they bicker, but they're very couple-like.
Yeah.
There's that line in the trailer for Sherlock Holmes. She's like, oh, they've been bickering for hours.
So yeah, and he's been living the lie ever since. He's been out in LA working as a detective with Perry, living with him, but refusing to acknowledge it to the outside world. So he's never come out of the closet or acknowledged he's in a relationship with a man. He's continued this facade of having this really sexy girlfriend who just happens to be out of town at the moment. And so Nick and Honey, the young couple, he goes, man, that's fucked up. And then they just leave. They get out and go. And then I guess Robert Downey Jr., Harry, he starts crying and sobbing. He's like, how could you? You know, much like the end of Who's Afraid. I've basically taken the plot of Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf and transposed it onto this film. So she starts crying, and Val Kilmer, Gay Perry, takes him in his arms and he's like, I'm sorry, we can go back. And he holds him and he sobs, and then the credits roll. And that's the end of Who's Afraid of Gay Perry.
That's very well done, actually. I was very impressed.
Thank you.
You managed to use that from very wisely. Yeah.
You know, it took like no effort as well. Once the idea came, I was like, oh, I wonder if I could do that. Because I was listening to the episode.
Oh, look at me, I'm John. It takes no effort to write anything.
No.
So easy.
That's not what I mean.
It just comes so naturally. I don't know what it is. I must be a writer.
No, I didn't mean it like that, dick. What I meant was, basically I was listening to the Easy Rider episode of Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, which is a film I really like, and I was remembering, that's a really good film. At the same time, I was trying to think of my plot for my sequel idea, and then I was thinking about how the whole Gay Perry plotline was the most interesting thing to me, and you know the gay panic in the film was kind of there.
It's hard to ignore.
Hard to ignore, yeah. So then I kind of thought, I wonder, and then I thought, and it's one of those things where it just perfectly fits. Once the idea came, all I had to do was literally what I've recited to you is the plot of In Virginia Woolf. It's not a gay story. It's an old married couple, man and woman, and a young married couple. And basically, they keep talking about their son, and they're fighting and bickering. They've got a toxic relationship. And then he announces that their son has died, and she says, "You don't get to do that. That's not fair." And it turns out the son was something they invented, and so it's basically that. So, yeah. So once I got the idea, it was just like, oh, one easy week. I'm just going to write the plot of Virginia Woolf and change the names. So yeah, that was Who's Afraid of Gay Perry.
Great.
Any questions?
Nope, not at all.
Cool.
So, listener submissions.
Great, cool. Yeah, we've had a few this week. Once again, we had a lot of plays on the title, which were quite funny. So
Did anybody come up with anything as good as Kiss Kiss Bang No Bang or Kiss No Kiss Bang Bang?
I'll let you be the judge. Here are some of my favourites. Vince Green suggested Pregnancy, Birth, Birth. Rob Farham came up with Kiss to Bang to Bang.
Okay,
with the number 2, so you know.
I see. Ooh, good.
Yeah.
Is that with Paul Walker?
Yes, sure, why not? From Beyond the Grave.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reanimated corpse of Paul Walker. Yeah.
And Tyrese, yeah.
And Joe Herman came up with Smooch, Smooch, Boom, Boom.
Good.
Yeah. Yes, that's the PG-rated version. Smooch, Smooch, Boom, Boom. So other ideas. Matthew Siegel suggested Iron Man 3, but with running in character commentary from the Kiss Kiss Bang Bang crew. So I guess the Robert Downey Jr.'s character in Iron Man, if he was able to pause the film and say, what was the point of that scene, and rewind and re-edit.
I'd watch it.
Yeah.
Cool. Heavy Metal Horrorcast at HMHcast. Their idea was the Kiss Fang Gang. And this is Harry and Perry have been hired to investigate a recent spate of murders in New York City. The only connecting feature between them is 2 puncture marks in the neck. They found out that the glam rock band Kiss have been sired by Kiefer Sutherland's Lost Boys. Realising that they're out of their depths in this one, they call in the experts, the Frog Brothers. So there's a sequel to both this and the Lost Boys, which I like. Good crossover.
I like it.
Yeah.
Blokebusters, their idea was Bang Bang Kiss Kiss, a story about a man falling in love with his hired prostitute, played by Val Kilmer apparently. So
lovely, yeah.
Julio Oliveira, I apologise if I've mispronounced that. Julio Oliveira at Ovnio, OVNIO. Kiss Kiss What? It's what, WAT what as well. A reimagining of the original as a teen murder mystery. Harry's a slacker that accidentally teams up with a Veronica Mars-esque Perry in a high school scenario. It's like Brick, but cool.
Okay.
I thought Brick was pretty cool.
Yeah. So this is even cooler than Brick.
Even cooler than Brick.
Yeah.
Have you seen Brick?
No.
On the list.
Could you do all that, but in like a young Travi accent? I think it's Kiss What idea.
Do you want me to read it out again in a chat?
See if you can.
The whole thing.
So read it out again in a... I'll try and go back to my Scouse accent from childhood days. Let me regress. Bang, bang, kiss, kiss. I can't do a Scouse accent even though I'm
Kiss,
legit.
kiss, what, wasn't it?
Oh, sorry. Kiss, kiss, what? A reimagining of the original as a teen murder mystery. Harry's a slacker who accidentally teams up with a Veronica Mars-esque Perry in an high school scenario. It's like Brick, but cool.
That's really good.
Oh, thank you.
Put it into your accents, build more characters around it.
Yeah, I might bring that back. That might be my big daddy.
Yeah.
Little Chavy. So, Dad's Own Cast, at Dad's Own Cast. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang 2, The Book of the Dead. Harry awakens to find everyone he cares about has been murdered. He realises that his tormented finger has been cursed and is now killing people. He must find the Necronomicon to end the curse, but fast on his trail is the Deadite Hunter. So that's a crossover with Evil Dead, I believe.
Yeah, it's all Evil Dead stuff.
Yep, so
is this finger passed through the dog and is now killing of its own accord, or is the finger controlling the dog?
I think the finger's gone rogue.
Yeah, I think the finger is very angry.
The finger is out of the bumhole.
Yeah, okay. we see. I'm thinking this is just me adding on building on their idea. Maybe the opening shot, or maybe the shot of the original film should have been like a close up on a piece of dog poo, and then the finger just kind of jumps out dramatically, like Carrie's hand in the end of Carrie, and then we just see it like wandering around and like somehow killing people. Yeah, just maybe like chokes people by jumping into their mouths. Like, yeah.
Have it wash itself first.
Yeah.
Before killing them. But you're gonna die.
You don't want to die with the taste of shit in your mouth and a disembodied finger in your throat. Yeah. Oh No Lit Class, at Oh No Lit Class Pod. Their idea is La La Land, but with Harry and the gang in the background attempting to solve some terrible murder. Eventually they get involved with Sebastian and Mia in the main plot, and much singing and dancing ensues. Sebastian, i.e. Ryan Gosling, is obviously the murderer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's everything.
Good.
Lots of good ideas there. Yeah.
So if you have a sequel idea for Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, or any movies we've done in the past, or any films you'd like to see us do in the future, let us know. We are Beyond the Box Set. You can find us on all good podcasting platforms. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, Acast, Podbean, Player FM, Overcast, and excitingly, we have just been added to Spotify as well, so you can now listen to us on Spotify.
Yes.
Please hit subscribe for a new episode every Friday morning, and if you really like the show, please leave us a review because it really helps us to find new listeners. If you'd like to get in touch with us, we're available on all forms of social media, including Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr and Google+. Just search Beyond the Box Set. I'll go to our website, beyondtheboxset.com. And that's all the spiel, I think. So next week, do we have another guest?
Next week, yeah, we've got another guest.
Too many guests.
Is it though?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling
Guests
a
are
bit
good.
crowded.
It's been great to have you on.
Oh yeah, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
So next week we're doing Black Swan.
Ooh, it's gonna be intense. And who's that? Whose idea is that?
That's my friend Ollie. I'll give him a proper introduction next week.
Cool. So tune in next week to hear us joined by the mysterious Ollie for the film Black Swan, the Darren Aronofsky classic. And thank you, Chris, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Would you like to just do one more little plug for Easy Rider Raging Podcast before you go?
Yeah, so my podcast, Easy Riders Raging Podcast. If you like classic films, we talk about 60s films and 70s films. Or even if you don't know many of those films and you feel like you should learn more, we do they're all kind of films you should see that we advise you to see that are worth checking out. So yeah, for classic film podcastery, Easy Riders Raging Podcasts. We've got loads of fun features such as Recastorama, where we recast a film with current actors, and Who Am I, where we work out who we would be if we were characters in that film.
Yeah, and we will be on a forthcoming episode about the 70s classic Saturday Night Fever, which we're looking forward to hearing. And it was great fun to be on, and it's a great show. You should definitely check it out. And we are both part of the Britpod scene as well, which is a podcast community of British podcasts. So if you enjoy British accents, look out for them. Great, cool. So I guess we'll see you next week. Thanks again, Chris, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
See you all next week. Bye.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.